Hola y bienvenidos. Hola y bienvenidos a Global Connection. Mi nombre es Carolina Alcántara. Soy asesora de programas internacionales aquí en Campus Monterrey y en el episodio de hoy tenemos a aquellas personas que nos permiten lograr concretar este tipo de experiencias. Tenemos a dos personas que nos visitan desde Hochschule Ansbach. Es una universidad que se encuentra en Alemania y nos van a contar un poco sobre su experiencia en cuanto a esta partnership, esta sociedad que se tiene con ellos. Y les comento que el programa va a ser en inglés, así que recuerden que cuando es en inglés voy a estar haciendo aportaciones de lo que estamos hablando en español durante el programa, así que sigan con nosotros. Pues recuerden que están escuchando Global Connection aquí en Tech Sounds Radio y ahorita les presento a nuestras invitadas.
Crónicas de un intercambio. La experiencia de vivir en México. Chronicles of an Exchange.
And well, welcome. We have our guests all the way from Germany, from Hochschule Ansbach. It's Karina Cuevas.
Hello, and nice to be here. Thank you.
And we have also Desiree.
Yeah, right.
Desiree Franz. Tell me, is it pronounced like that?
Desiree Franz.
Sounds
very German. Very German.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thanks for hosting us.
No, of course. How are you?
We're doing all good. We're so happy to be here. It's very exciting to be on Monterrey campus, and we're so happy to be here on radio.
Yeah, we love it. So actually, it's our first time here on campus on Tec de Monterrey. And for my colleague, Desiree Franz, it's her first time in Mexico, Monterrey.
Where are you from, for instance?
So I'm from Germany, from the east, close to Berlin.
Okay.
But we work in Bavaria, which is the very south of Germany and close to Munich.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm from Mexico. I'm Mexican, but I'm originally from Nuevo Laredo, which is 2 hours away from Monterrey. So I've been to Monterrey several times, and yeah, I'm actually very excited to be back here.
Nice. And how long have you been in Germany for?
Around 3 years now. Yes, so yeah, I arrived on September 2022, and now time flies. It's been 3 years already, but I'm always happy to come back to my hometown and the region I grew up in. And it's very, very nice to be here at the campus Monterrey.
Nice. So what made you want to work in international relations? Like regarding like what made you want to be part of this of this part of the university?
Well, I actually always knew I wanted to stay like in an educational environment, and the more like internationalization and globalization grew, I knew I wanted to be part of it. And what a better way than to work at an international office of a university. And you know, when I am in charge of the incoming students to help them come to our university, do an exchange. And you know, when you see the faces and when you see the expressions of happiness and excitement of doing a semester abroad, it's when you get the feeling of that's what I do. Like I love to, you know, to be able to make those dreams come true of, you know, of them having an international experience.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. For me, after school, I went to China for 1 year. And it was such a culture shock. Everything was so different. I didn't understand the people. I didn't understand the behavior and the language. It was just a mess. And then I came back to Germany and thought it's so difficult for people from other countries to like live in another place. And then during my studies, I came across a job as a student assistant in the international office. And I saw that I can really help people to like get connected with Germans, to understand the way we behave, who we are, that we're not rude, but just very direct in communication, you know? And so just to let them exchange, like let them see the world is not worse or bad in other places, it's just different. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm trying to tell the students who come to Germany and maybe get culture shocked or don't understand what's going around. Yeah, that's why I do the job, and I love it.
That's so nice to hear that you were like in different ways, but you are related to, like, for example, you're from Mexico, and then you wanted to continue something in education and exploring like that area and connecting people.
Yeah.
And you also, when you had your exchange experience in China, you wanted to also like give that back in a way when you came back to Germany.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Every
like
day.
we both had international experiences. We've been like living abroad, so it's like I think we both know what it means like to have cultural shocks and to live
be
in
lost.
a different and like we want to be like that guiding light for students and next generations.
Well, I want to know also like what are your what do you do in the university specifically? Like what if we can say also like what your job consists of, and let's start with that. Yeah.
So I'm the head of the international office. So I'm in charge mainly of strategic things happening on campus, all over the campus. What could we make more international? How can we develop internationalization on a strategic level? So I'm more in charge of talking to the professors about new programs and implementing those in the existing programs and stuff like that. And I'm in charge of all the outgoing students who want to go abroad to overseas from Europe. And for all the professors and staff who want to go abroad, which is a lot. But it's so interesting because I get connected with all staff and faculties on our campus, and also with the students who plan to go abroad. And it's so interesting to see how people change during their stays abroad, how they leave Germany and how they come back. So I guess this is what makes me come into work every day. So yeah, that's part of my job.
And for me, well, I'm in charge of the incoming students. So the students that come from all over the world that want to do an exchange semester with us in Germany at the University of Ansbach. And so actually I'm in charge of the whole process from the nomination when our partner universities nominate their students. I help them apply. I give them all the information they need, the courses, how to the level that they need, and how to choose their health insurance. And also I'm the friendly face they meet whenever they come to Germany for the first time. We have orientation weeks at the beginning of the semester, which I organize along with some colleagues and tutors, which are full-time students helping me with the international students. And that's where they get like the first overview of how it's like to live in Germany as a country, and also to study in Germany, because and especially, as a foreigner myself, I know how confusing it can be to come to Germany and see a completely different educational level, how it's very different when they take exams, when they take classes, and just like the behavior of other students or other professors. So my job also consists of like guiding them and to make sure they get integrated well on the academic life of the university, and to help them have the best experience that they can during the semester. So, and yeah, actually I really enjoy it. I really like it because in the end, whenever some students come to me at the end of the semester and they say, thank you so much for everything you've done, I really appreciate it. Without your help, I wouldn't have had the courage to come here. So it's something also that, like Desiree said, it makes me come to work every day.
I'm going to translate really quickly, okay? Oigan, y les comento un poquito de lo que estamos platicando, porque para que si no están entendiendo, les doy así como el contexto. Estamos hablando con Karina y Desiree, que vienen desde Hochschule Ansbach, que es una universidad que está en Alemania, y nos están contando lo que ellas hacen en las oficinas de internacionalización. Por ejemplo, Desiree, ella es la principal, la jefa de la parte de internacionalización. Ella se encarga de mandar alumnos, al igual que es encargada de hacer como con los convenios, la plática que tiene que hacer con los maestros para checar qué materias ella está en ese rol, ¿no? Y está Karina, y por cierto, Desiree es alemana y Karina es mexicana. Karina de hecho nos contaba que es de Nuevo Laredo y ella trabaja desde hace ya 3 años en Alemania y es la líder de la oficina de las personas que vienen de intercambio, ¿no? Entonces ella se encarga de ser esta cara amigable, de ser la persona que los recibe, les da toda esa información necesaria para que puedan concretar su intercambio en Alemania. Y eso es un poquito lo que estamos hablando hasta ahorita. Continuamos el programa en inglés. So, if you had to say your first, what would be your first, well, for instance, Desiree, I know, Karina, you already are. Well, I mean, you're Mexican, so and Nuevo Laredo is not that far from Monterrey.
No, yeah, so it's very near.
You have visited before.
Yes,
Monterrey?
yes, several times, and also have family here. And yes.
Okay, yeah. So it wouldn't be like the first time, like maybe like like the cultural shock or like your first impressions
of Monterrey.
Monterrey?
No, like I've been here since I've been like 4 or 5 years old, so back and forth.
Well, in the next section, I want to ask you a little bit, especially Desiree, what are your first impressions of Mexico? And you can tell us your first impressions of Germany. Like, what made you even want to work there? Okay. Well, para todos los que nos están escuchando, recuerden que pueden sintonizarnos en el canal de YouTube buscando en Tech Sounds Radio. Busquen así Tech Sounds Radio y 94.9 FM y busquen Global Connection. Y ahí pueden continuar viendo y otros episodios de Global Connection. Así que sigan con nosotros.
A miles de kilómetros, descubriendo un mundo de posibilidades. Thousands of kilometers.
And well, continuing in what I was asking before, like we can make this mixture of, for instance, for you, Karina, what was your first impressions in Germany and what made you want to even work there? And for you, Desiree, what was your impression when you came to Mexico? What have you think so far about Mexico, Tec de Monterrey?
We have many discussions about that while we're being here because now I think I can understand Karina much better. So the first thing when we arrived at the airport in Mexico City, somebody took our luggage. And people don't do that in Germany. Like he grabbed our luggage and would put it into the cab.
Okay.
The taxi, right? No, not steal. Somebody. But this was my reaction. Why would somebody take my luggage? Because in Germany, if somebody takes your luggage, it's gone. But he was just being nice and put it in the taxi. And then we went to the hotel, and the next morning we had breakfast. And there were different kind of juices, and there was a letter saying this is orange juice, this is whatsoever's juice, and I was reading it, and somebody came up from the staff and said, so this is orange juice and this is banana juice. And I said, I know, it's written on the juice. And he was looking at me and I was looking at him. So, and I think those were like small differences. I realized people are super helpful, very service oriented, very friendly. Even if the information is given, they would help you and try to make you feel welcome and having the best time. And I'm pretty sure Karina has a different experience in Germany.
Yes, for me, I mean, like, I grew up in this country. I'm used to that kind of service orientation that somebody's like, oh, hang on, no, don't get up. I will get you the coffee. I will bring everything to your table. And don't worry, just... they say, déjate consentir, you know? And in Germany, it's very different. I mean, first, like, Germany sparked my interest when I was, like, 14 years old. I just wanted to learn German. I was like, you know, I think German culture is very interesting. I really like all about like I wanted to know more about that culture. I thought that they were very impressive, very organized and stuff like that. And that's actually I really like that. So I was also a very organized person of personality, and I thought, Germany, I think it's like a place for me. But of course, like when I went on the first time, no matter how prepared I could have been with information or something, I think nothing can really prepare you from actually going abroad. And the first thing, yes, though, like I had to do everything myself. So like if I didn't ask for it, there will not be a person that comes to me and like guide me on several occasions. Like, but if I ask, like if I had the initiative to ask for something, they are very helpful. Actually, they're also very ready to help you, but like you need to be a little bit more direct in that kind of aspect. And yes, especially also with the professors, like they would be more. I started doing exchange semester. So first it was like the cultural shock of being a student in Germany, and there were some professors that would not be like, well, I would like for you to have it ready by Friday or something, but don't worry, take your time or something. Like sometimes in Mexico they do. They will be like, oh, this is wrong, just change it, do it by Friday. And it's like, whoa, it's not really, they're not being rude, they're just being direct. And I know that that can also be a little bit shocking for students that come from Mexico or from other countries. And that's why, like, I also tell students, like, really, it's they don't mean bad. Like, they're just very direct, and it's just a different culture. So they are just there's no good or right or wrong. I'm sorry. It's just like she said, it's different.
And we value honesty. Like for us, it's super cool if somebody's direct and honest and says, no, I don't like that. We appreciate it. And that can be it can seem very harsh. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, if sometimes Karina is still shocked for me saying, no, we don't do that way. But for us, it's a good thing. Somebody seems to be strong if he's honest and saying, no, I don't like that, or we have to change that. And this is, for us, for example, a good professor. If he gives you honest feedback and he tells you were bad in your homework, he gives you the chance to improve. Yep. So I think there are small differences, just like I can read the sign on my own. And up to big differences like I need you to be honest with me, and I need you to be direct. I need you to ask for help if you need it. And then I'm willing to help, and I'm willing to offer all the honesty I have.
Exactly. Yeah. And also just a quick comment before we move on. That also like applies on social environments. For example, like I have some German friends, and like in Mexico, whenever you say like, hey, do you want to hang out here? I mean, we're going to go to this restaurant or something, and you don't feel like going, you don't really say, no, I don't want to go. You say like, well, I think it might be a little bit hard, or you try to make something up. But
the Germans don't.
Yeah, exactly. But even we know, like, okay, I think she's not feeling it, so she's just trying to be politely saying, I'm. Let's see if I can make it. So we kind of, already innerly we know that maybe she doesn't want to come. But in Germany, if they don't want to come, like they say, hey, you want to hang out tonight, or we are going to this restaurant. They say like, no, I don't want to go. Or like, okay. Thank you for your honesty.
And it is thank you for your honesty. Germans value honesty. Yeah.
Wow, that's actually like a cultural clash, because I think it even hurts the feelings of Mexicans. I would say, like, even you saying it just feels like,
like, ow.
Yeah.
And I think this is what makes it so difficult for foreigners to come to Germany, because they just think of the dirndl and the leather trouser and the sausage and blah, 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 and that it's very nice and we celebrate Oktoberfest all the time. It's not that. It's the small things that can make it very difficult. And that's part of our job. Like, we try to explain this is not good or bad. It's just, as we said, different. And you can see the value in it. Like, you can absolutely trust a German if he says, yes, I like that. because he likes that or she. And if he says, no, I don't, then it's the truth, you know? So, and it would not hurt somebody's feelings because we're used to this style of communication. But we know that for foreigners, it can be very hard because of this indirect communication they might have back home. And I think the Germans are the peak of direct communication. And this is what we're trying to tell our students on a daily basis. Like, try to get used to it. Try it yourself. Maybe you see how it changes you and also your point of view, how things can be seen different. And I think some students, after a while, they understand and they see that this is nothing bad, but that it changes
it's
themselves.
Just different.
It's different. And it makes more connection to people, at least from Germany.
Well, I'm gonna translate really quickly, but I have a question that but I don't want to forget what you just said.
Sure.
Lo que nos comentaban es que a diferencia de México, o sea, con Alemania, es que ya tienden a ser muy directos. Algo que, o sea, por ejemplo, ahorita Karina decía que, o sea, si ya no quieres ir a o sea, aquí por lo general cuando alguien te invita te dice de que, ay, pues no puedo, si no quieres ir dices, no puedo, es que tengo otra cosa, o ¿sabes qué? Me tengo que levantar temprano. Como que siempre los mexicanos tenemos tal vez una excusa para no decir un no directo. Pero en Alemania lo que comentan es que son muy directos, que si no quieren ir es de que no quiero ir. O sea, y no es que sea malo, simplemente es una manera diferente. O sea, ahorita lo que también decía es que lo que ellas tratan de inculcarles muchos de los alumnos que cuando van de intercambio o vienen es que no es que sea malo o bueno, simplemente es diferente y pues es una manera de apreciar las cosas desde otra perspectiva. Y algo que desea también decir es que se le hace muy curioso que al llegar alguien agarra las maletas. Yo al principio pensé que decían que se las habían robado. Yo dije, ¿cómo? Pero era más que nada que agarrar las maletas para ponerlas en la cajuela. Y el hecho de esta acción, dicen que no es algo que está acostumbrada en Alemania. Tampoco está acostumbrada que si vas, por ejemplo, al buffet y en el buffet cada jugo tiene su nombre, pues no está acostumbrada que alguien llegue y les diga, este es jugo de naranja, este es jugo de toronja o jugo verde, ¿no? Simplemente es algo que no es común que exista en Alemania, pero dice, por ejemplo, Karina comenta que allá tal vez no está esa gente apoyándote sin que pidas el apoyo. Allá en Alemania tienes que pedir el apoyo, así que también son personas serviciales que te pueden apoyar, pero sí tienes que hacer ese paso de pedir el apoyo, a diferencia de que aquí en cualquier lado es de que te ayudo. Exacto. And what has been your experience with Mexican students going to Germany? Like, what do you know, or they have told you about their experience in Germany? And I want to know also vice versa. What have the German students told you about their experience abroad in Mexico?
Well, yeah, so actually I receive a lot of Mexican students. We practically have at least 2 every semester, sometimes 4. And actually, at first they are also like a little bit disoriented, so they find everything a little bit strange. And when they see me, I'm Mexican or something, I think they really get confident very soon because they know that there's a helping hand in here. But throughout the semester, they still, they learn to do things on their own. They learn to, for example, start paying bills because sometimes for them it's the first time going abroad. Sometimes they're 18, 19 years old, and it's the first time for them living apart from their families, apart from their home. And whenever they have to leave, they say like, I feel much more independent now. I still like it whenever like I have something safe, like I have my family or something. But now I'm less afraid of going out there in the world as before, like it does changes their, the experience changes them for good. Like they can see how to solve problems themselves, and I think that's also a very good for the character. And that's something that they've told me always at the end of the semester, like that they really, really like this experience of going abroad for one semester in Germany, especially because they say, now I think I know how it's like to do everything on my own, to just like take the initiative to do things myself. And now I feel like I will be able to adapt to other places that I travel to.
Yeah, I think we usually, when Mexicans go abroad and they see a friendly face, it always helps, especially because, like, yeah, and I think it also happens with Germans when they come to Mexico. When they see people, or not only Germans, but every person always draw towards their nationality.
Yeah.
Because they feel away from home, like a place safe where the other people can understand them. Well, hold that thought. We're going to go to a quick break and then we'll come back, okay?
Okay.
Bueno, ahorita lo que nos comentaba Karina es el hecho de que, por ejemplo, que ella sea mexicana y que haya alumnos mexicanos que reciban allá en la universidad. Es algo que pues a ellos les hace muy padre el hecho de que pues como es mexicana sienten que hay alguien que pueden confiar, ¿no? Rápidamente. Y pues el hecho de que empiezan a independizarse y pues sienten que crecen durante esta estancia muy rápidamente. Y bueno, pues nos vamos a un corte comercial. Recuerden que pueden escucharnos en el canal de YouTube y están escuchando Global Connection aquí en Tech Sounds Radio.
El desafío, la integración cultural, the challenge.
Hola, y continuamos con el programa. Están escuchando Global Connection y estamos con dos socias que nos vienen visitando desde HS Ansbach. So what HS stands for?
Hochschule.
Hochschule.
Which is it's a word for universidad. Yeah.
Like University of Applied Sciences.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
We have a name for that, Hochschule.
Hochschule.
That's different from like university itself. It's called Universität. But Hochschule, it's University of Applied Sciences. That's the difference is that it's more practice oriented.
Ah, ok. O sea, es más dirigido a la práctica, significa HS es Hochschule, que significa
Universidad de Ciencias
de
Aplicadas.
Ciencias Aplicadas. Ansbach.
Ansbach,
Yeah, Ansbach.
sí.
Ansbach es el nombre de la universidad.
Sí.
Okay, perfect. So following up in what we were talking and combining it with this section that it's the challenge, in this section is talking about things that usually are maybe a little bit difficult for students that you have encountered. Like, is it difficult, like getting used to, well, we have talked about like the the part that it's like the connection. But what would you say? Usually students tell you like it's a challenge. And also, let's take back to this section that we were talking about. What have the students from Mexico? Well, you already told us, but what about the German students have told you about their experiences abroad in Mexico?
They always loved it. Just to say that, because life here is different. You get good weather. It's the sun that makes the Germans different somehow, I think. And then people are friendly. They're more open-minded in some sort of like it's easier to talk to them. It's easier to talk to strangers. You receive more help without asking. This is this kind of service orientation we discussed about. So once they arrive here, they feel welcome. And they feel that it's so easy to connect with people and to find friends and just to be part of the country. And I think this is what really makes them feel at home and feel like they're seen as people. So once they come back, they often miss that. They miss this being warm-hearted and this open discussions and getting together easily with other people from other countries. And this is what they love so much about Mexico. And usually once they've been here, they often go back, actually. Sometimes for master degrees, sometimes for vacation, sometimes just to see friends they met during their exchange. So this is my experience for the German students going to Mexico. They love it. Yeah, they feel the sun in their hearts afterwards. Yeah.
So what would you say are the challenges now of that you have heard from Mexicans being in Germany and from Germans being in Mexico? Or, I mean, we can also talk about general challenges if it doesn't need to be specific to Mexico.
for going abroad to Germany or Mexico or in general?
I mean, we can start with Mexico. Like, for instance, the challenges that you have seen with Mexicans going to Germany, and the challenges Germans had when they had come to Mexico.
I think one is the traffic.
During Mexico.
In Germany, a red light is a red light, and you just don't walk, you don't cross the street, and you have your line, and you drive within that line, you know. And here, traffic is more crazy, so that gives them the vibes. Okay, this is another country. But yeah, as I said, often it's not. I think going from Germany to Mexico, it's a bit easier, I would say, because of this warm-heartedness and because of this indirect style of communication, the service orientation, the helpfulness. It's much easier for a shy, cold German to come to a warm country, and I think the other way around might be more challenging. What the Germans might miss is structure, like as I said, in the traffic, or if there's an appointment at 8, it should happen at 8, you know. But these are like just small things. I think the surroundings are often much easier, like more welcoming than in Germany.
Yeah, so for Mexican students, the other way around, it's a little bit challenging when they realize that they need to do a lot of things by themselves. But I think also that's in general, like, it's kind of hard to get a little bit more independent, right, if they've lived with their families their whole life, with their parents. But yes, there are several small cultural shocks that may be a little bit more present than others. For example, the lights, like if you are on a crosswalk and you see the light is red, but there are absolutely no cars coming. In Mexico, we usually would go across. But in Germany, they say like, no, the light is red. And I'm like, yeah, but there are no cars. But the light is red. They are very I mean,
stick to our rules.
They stick to the rules, but like very incredibly strict to the rules, so that's something. And for a lot of things, they need a little bit more of confirmation. For example, in Mexico, we're in a way a little bit more flexible, more adaptable. So it's like, yeah, we'll make it out some way. And the German's like, no, you cannot go to this step if you haven't finished this step. And it's like, yeah, but I can do maybe some things in this other one. No, just stick to the plan and stuff. So they can get maybe a little bit overwhelmed at the beginning, because they are not used to that kind of structure. So we are Mexicans a little bit more flexible sometimes. And that's actually a very cultural shock, especially if you go as a student and you have to get used to a different way of working that usually wouldn't be experienced here in Mexico. And also, also other small fun facts, like Germans love fresh air. And like literally they open the windows, I wouldn't say every hour, but almost.
Yeah.
Almost. Like, even if it's freezing outside, it can be snowing, there can be a blizzard going on, but they say, I need fresh air, I need to open the window for 5 minutes. And we're in Mexico, we're like, why do you have the windows open? It's freezing. And they're like, we need to open the windows, it's fresh air. And also then for the Germans, when they come here and there are some buildings where the windows do not open, or it's harder to open them, they're like, I need my fresh air.
AC.
Yeah, there's air conditioning. Yeah.
These ones don't open, for instance. Like, in this building in Siap, the windows don't open.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's, something something you may think it's like very random. It's like, what does it have to do with the windows? But it's something that's very present for Germans.
Wow.
I got so surprised at the beginning how important it was for them. Like, for us, it's maybe something like, yeah, well, whatever, it's not a problem. I can, if their windows don't open, or if they open, for me, it's not something that important, but for Germans, it is. Sometimes it's the first thing they look for when they go to a hotel.
It actually is. I have to admit that is so true.
And I mean, here sometimes in the hotels, like it's like a really small part that you can open the windows. I don't know if you have noticed.
No, we don't have
If
that.
any.
If it has any, exactly. Yeah, usually it's only the AC as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oigan, pues lo que nos comentaban ahorita es que pues estos desafíos que llegan a tener los alumnos y creo que es la misma cara de la moneda. I think it's the same coin in a way, but in a different side.
Yeah, exactly.
Porque al final nos dicen que, por ejemplo, en Alemania, a los alemanes extrañan la estructura que tienen en su país cuando vienen a México. Por ejemplo, que aquí el carril es el carril en Alemania, pero en México no. En México, o sea, el carril no es de línea recta, cambia. Luego también los semáforos, aunque sea esté en luz roja, que esté en luz roja no significa que no puedes que no puedes pasar, ¿no? También, pero para los alemanes en cambio sí es como si está en luz roja, aunque no venga ningún carro, no se puede pasar. Entonces esa flexibilidad que los mexicanos de cierta manera tienen que adaptarse, porque allá no tienen esa flexibilidad que acá existe, y los alemanes también tienen que adaptarse. El hecho de que acá en México no sigamos los pasos, o sea, del paso 1 nos podemos ir al 5, y en Alemania no, en Alemania tienen que tener esa estructura porque también les da como paz. Y algo que también comentaban ahorita era el hecho de pues que también hay cosas que tal vez nosotros no nos damos cuenta porque lo tomamos por hecho. Y sí, que también el hecho es de que al darnos cuenta de este tipo de cosas, no... Ay, es que me estaban comentando algo y se me está viendo la idea. Ok. Sí, más que nada les decía que en la parte que nos comentaba ahorita, no fue decir, fuiste tú, ¿no?
Sí, fui yo, sí.
Sí, que nos dijiste. Ay, mejor tú cuéntala, porque ya se me fue la idea.
Sí, o sea, como que los mexicanos no les damos tanta importancia, o la verdad no lo tenemos presente, pero para los alemanes sí. Estaba comentándole de que los alemanes le encantan el aire fresco, o sea, no aire acondicionado, sino aire fresco de afuera. Entonces a ellos les encanta abrir las ventanas, y así esté a menos 10 grados, nevando, con mucho viento, ellos tienen que abrir la ventana casi cada hora, mínimo por 5 minutos, para que entre aire fresco. Y nosotros nos estamos ahí congelando y como que, ¿qué es esto? ¿Por qué abres la ventana? Es que necesitamos aire fresco. Y en México la verdad no nos damos cuenta, o sea, no ponemos atención de que pues si se abren las ventanas o no, pues no pasa nada. O sea, no es algo que tenemos presente, pero es lo primero que cuando los alemanes vienen acá o están en un hotel, lo notan luego de que esta ventana no se abre.
Sí, y yo les comenté que, por ejemplo, aquí en el edificio decía que está en el TEC Campus Monterrey, no se abren las ventanas. O sea, es algo que pues, realmente, o sea, si quieres aire fresco, tienes que abrir la puerta. Y a veces la puerta está dentro de otra puerta, así que realmente el aire no es fresco. Bueno, pues continuamos con la siguiente sección. Están escuchando Global Connection en Tech Sounds Radio.
Impacto positivo. Resultados de una experiencia académica. Positive Impacts.
And well, now in this section is talking about positive impacts. It's like, what are the things that do you see that in general students help them like in their lives, or overall, what positive things have you seen that they have encountered or they have grown after an exchange or during an exchange?
Well, for Mexicans, for example, like I've mentioned, they really like it that they can do more things themselves. Like they grow this independent. So like sometimes they say like, I'm really proud because now I do things that I've never done in Mexico because of, I don't know, I'm always used to something being done for me, or like I'm always used to someone be there, to help me along the process. And in Germany, I've learned to, take matters into my own hands, to take more the initiative to solve the problem, because sometimes when you encounter a problem for the first time, it can be a little bit scary, especially if you don't have the guidance. And sometimes, just a vague example, to pay the electricity bill. Sometimes everything's in German and the systems may be different from ours. They need to register to a lot of stuff. There needs to be a lot of paperwork done in Germany it's not usually done in Mexico. And they say like, what is all this paperwork nonsense? I am getting so overwhelmed here. But once you grow past that, once you see, okay, focus, relax, it's okay, you can do it. And they, in the end, when they actually, achieve it, it's like for them, it's a great achievement. It's a great success. They say like, I did that. This mountain of paperwork, this mountain of work, I did that and I did it on my own. So it's like a sense of like success for them. So it's the most positive change that I always see in students, not only Mexicans, but also from other countries. For example, from Turkey or from Spain. That's the kind of change that I always see, and they always leave incredibly satisfied because of that new character building that they acquired while they were in Germany.
That's so nice. Yeah.
For the Germans, it's actually something else, I think. Like we're some sort of closed culture. It's difficult for us to meet new people. We're so bad at small talk. That's nothing. That's not our strength. It's a fact. And I think when students come back from exchange, they have seen how that could work. They see how small talk works, and they see how easy it can be to approach other people and strangers, and what it's like to be open and friendly and welcoming to people I absolutely don't know. Because I would say this is quite challenging for us. And this is this kind of structure they lose as soon as they go abroad, because they lose the close connection they have to the family and the same friends they see every day. They're now in a new spot that works perfectly different, and they have to open themselves up. And once they come back and they see how welcoming other people are in other countries, they try to be more like that once they come back. And it's so much easier to talk to them and to see that there's not just one solution and A, B, C, D, but maybe also A to E to F to G to H, like different ways of thinking. And I really love that when students come back and they see the world works different, and I am different, and I can welcome people from other countries much, much easier than before, and be more open-minded and chatty.
I think it's interesting how you say that it's, for example, for Mexicans, it's more of a being more structured, right? Yeah. Like learning to not be that chaotic as Mexico might be. We even call it that Mexico is too real, because everything happens in Mexico. Even the AI doesn't get up until now. It hasn't done what you sometimes see in the Mexican videos. And I think for Germans it's more about letting loose.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Understanding that not everything needs to be structured, and not everything needs to follow the rules. Sometimes it does, because that's why Mexico tends to be a little bit chaotic. But when you understand that it's maybe a sweet spot in the middle, not all the way like as chaotic as it might be in Mexico, but not as structured. Because sometimes also when you encounter that middle point, you can get faster to your goal and make the work better.
Yeah,
so
and that's why I like about differences between specifically Mexico and Germany, because I think like those are cultures that very well complement each other. Germany has the structure. Mexico, we have like a little bit more this warm social contact, adaptability, and I think like we're a little bit too extremes. And like you said, when you meet like in the middle, when they complement each other, I think it's something beautiful. Like you can take the best of both worlds.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think this is why we enjoy working together as well. I think I'm more German than I would ever admit. So yeah, but I'm the head, I'm like the helicopter, and Karina, she gives like good impulses, like things I didn't think of, or ideas of students from abroad I didn't have in my mind, and other point of views, and this is why we complement each other very well, I think. And it's, of course, the culture, I think.
Yeah, it helps.
Yes, yeah.
Bueno, pues los que nos comentan un poquito ahorita en esta parte de impacto positivo es eso, nos decía que para los alemanes es darse cuenta que pues no todo tiene que ser tan estructurado y que pues una charla no tiene que tener un propósito, sino también puede ser una charla simplemente para conocer a una persona y darse esa apertura de poder conocer a gente de otras culturas y pues socializar un poco más. Y en cambio Karina nos decía que por ejemplo para los mexicanos es aprender que a veces hay mucho papeleo que se tiene que hacer y porque no puedes irte por otro lado. Allá en Alemania lo tienes que hacer, si no vas a lograr lo que quieres. Y entonces que luego está esta satisfacción, ¿no? De lograrlo, concretar eso que estabas buscando y aunque fue difícil, pues se hizo. Entonces ahí que llegamos a la conclusión que es como un punto medio, ¿no? Entre que son lo que decía también Karina, que somos los dos opuestos, podría decirse, pero al final también cuando nos encontramos en medio es muy bonito porque pues también llegamos a una parte de que puede ser estructurado y llegar a donde quieres llegar, y también puedes a veces saltarte pasos y también llegas ahí más rápido. Y bueno, pues ya llegamos a la parte final del programa. Continuamos con el resumen y cierre.
Resumen. Summary.
And we'll always ask students to describe their experience abroad in one word. So what word would describe your experience as working with international affairs and in meeting students and helping them their transitioning, going abroad, coming back? And yeah, well, what word would you think about?
I think I would think about connectivity, because no matter in which country you go or in which direction you go, whether from Germany to Mexico or Mexico to Germany, there's always this connectivity from international students or with local students. And I think that that's something wonderful. It like contributes to this globalization that it keeps growing and growing. And that's like, if you think about it, that might be the first step of someone in another country, and it's their first step towards being connected with people from all over the world. So that would be the word that I would use.
My word would be people, actually, because it doesn't matter where you are, absolutely not. It depends on the people you find and the people you let in your life and the people you approach. So sometimes we have exchange students who go to a country they didn't want to go to, but there was the spot for them, and they come back and they love the country. So, but they don't love the country, but for the people, for their opinion, for their heart, for their welcome. So for me, it's people that make a place.
That's so nice. Yeah, I think I have to tell you, it's really, as you were saying, I think you balance each other, because in a way, it's nice how you can see that the internationalization outside, but also in your office, you know?
Yeah.
It is an international. Absolutely.
Bueno, las palabras que nos dijeron fueron conectividad y personas. Personas porque no es el lugar donde estás, sino las personas que conoces, y conectividad es el hecho de que pues también también de cierta manera se empata con personas, pues las conexiones que realizas con personas y bueno, pues ya, ahora sí que this is the end of the show. I don't know if you want to say hello in German, to someone, and also we'll say goodbye in German, okay?
Okay.
So, how would you say goodbye in German?
Tschüss.
Tschüss?
Yeah, tschüss.
Okay. Yeah. Tschüss.
Tschüss.
Thanks for listening, Global Connection. Muchas gracias por sintonizarnos otro miércoles más. Estaban escuchando Global Connection y nos vemos en la siguiente emisión. Tschüss.
Tschüss. Adiós.
Hasta Hasta aquí Global Connection. Te esperamos en nuestra siguiente emisión el miércoles a las 11 de la mañana, solo en Tech Sounds Radio 94.9 FM.